Call this meeting to order. Thank you for being here. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, and Noah is going to lead us off.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as published.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. And first order of business under administration, we have Principal Sherry Hatley and our Hope Elementary School students presentation. So, hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you present again?
Yep, we're trying to get this up there.
Okay.
I was going on the wrong computer.
My name is Sherry Hatley, and I'm the principal of Hope Elementary School. And every year we celebrate our veterans. It is one of the most special moments of the entire school year, and it's always very emotional for many of us. So we're super proud to be here on actual Veterans Day to share this with you. Our presenters tonight are Mr. Richens, Bella Coyvio, Paisley Rogier, Alex Scarlett, and Kelly Sester, and then Noah Roberts.
My name is Russell Richens. I'm the music teacher at Hope and also at Northside. This is my 5th year in the district. And I'm so grateful to come into the district and to be able to continue the precedent of celebrating veterans and continuing that legacy. Tammy Gunter and Natalie Kane started that years ago. And it's a privilege for me to be able to continue that forward, to teach our students, to honor others, to honor those that have fought, have served, sacrificed, and continue our liberties for our country. Thank you.
In preparation for our Veterans Day, we write letters and stuff envelopes with many, many invitations. On our mailing list, we have 94 veterans that we mail it out to. However, we have other connections in the community that we give stacks of invitations to, and so this year our reach was about 175 veterans that were given the invitation to come to our school. And not all of them show, of course, but we've heard time and time again of how special it feels for them to actually just receive the invitation and or to receive the invitation and a letter from a student. And so even though, we had over 30 veterans in our audience yesterday, but we know that we're touching many more than that.
Today on November 11th, 2025, our nation is celebrating the holiday called Veterans Day. To make this important, that yesterday the students of Hope School were pleased to honor the men and women of our Army Force with a musical salute. Today we are pleased to share a small part of the salute with you. At Hope School we love our country and we are thankful for our veterans. Our kindergarten and first grade students share their appreciation for our veterans with the song 1111.
branch of service. For more than 200 years, these courageous men and women have shown by example that freedom is free. They have answered the call to protect us and paid for our liberties with their hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. On TV and on the media, we learn about the threats this world faces daily. Brave men and women stand up for our freedoms and protect our liberties by answering the call to serve in the military. America's veterans are brave men and women who have courageously stepped forward to defend and protect our country. Many have even sacrificed their lives so that we can live in freedom. Today we want to honor them for their service because we owe them so much. To our veterans here among us today, we want to thank you. We appreciate your courage, your sacrifice, and your service.
After the performance, we ask our veterans to hold a receiving line, and so they line up towards the back of our gym, and then starting with kindergarten all the way through 6th grade, they come through and they shake their hands and they say thank you. And it's it really is so heartfelt and such an amazing thing that happens. And then after that, our 6th graders serve our veterans that want to stay refreshments, and they interview them. They have several questions and they walk around, and you can see Noah is actually interviewing his father. And then in the center picture, we have a few of the veterans that are talking to different students, and so they make the rounds. And it's always, I think, Alex, you said it's awkward at first, but it's fun, and they learn so much. And she also said that they talk a lot about the skills that you build now will help you so much in your future life. And so I think that cross-generational conversation and that honor and that celebration that happens is incredibly powerful. The other thing I want to say, so our entire performance is close to, it's like 30 minutes. So we gave you minutes.
Do you guys have any questions?
I don't. I think that's awesome what you're doing out there. Great job.
I have a question. What was something that you learned or something that stuck with you from your experience?
Something I learned, seeing all of the heartwarming veterans, it makes my heart warm.
That's great.
Again, thank you so much for allowing us to present tonight.
Sherry, will you bring everybody, all the kids come up here real quick, we're gonna sign a quick photo. We'll just stand behind. No, we'll just go behind on the ends.
Is there any veterans in the audience that we can thank with a red, white, and blue little cupcake? Anyone?
I got a
Otherwise, They don't have red dye anymore, so it's really pink, but it's supposed to be red.
Do you want us out front or is this?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get off. It's a little far back.
Too short anyway. But they're gonna have to.
Yeah, Noah's taller than I am.
Do you want us behind still?
Yeah, well, like, just, let's, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to be behind. Let's see. I don't want to see this well.
Yeah.
I know.
Now we got it. We got it? Okay. Thank you.
Good job, thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yes. All right, so next up, we have our financial update with CFO Brian Wallace.
Good one.
Chair Williams, member of the board, Dr. Meyer. I have the financial report for November. Of course, we're talking about October. We're always report a month behind. On the revenue side of the cost, you see we started receiving some of our property taxes that sort of roll in for the year. Our big payments will happen later, but they do start coming in a little bit each month. And some of the other local revenues, mostly interest. And we did get half of our literacy payment from the state, the other state categorical. That's pretty much that $508,000 for the literacy program that helps us support all the good things that are happening in literacy. That I think we'll get additional information on that for this meeting. I did highlight the salaries and benefits, of course. Right when we sort of start the school year, it's the big guess: are we tracking well on salaries and benefits? That drives our budget. And I've said before, we want it every month. If perfect would be 8.6%, 1/12. That percentage right there is about 8.5, so we're tracking well. Some months are higher than others because like coaches' salaries and things come in. But if that was 9.5, we'd be concerned because it's like, oh, what did we miss? We have more people than we budgeted, but we didn't. We're tracking well, so if you look at the previous year's comparisons, things are pretty similar to previous years, so it looks like we'll be on a good path for the rest of the year as far as this being in line with budget. Again, just the graph to sort of show the green will grow. Salaries and benefits are their biggest expenditures there, and they're getting up. And materials and supplies compared to budget, we've gone through quite a bit. Of course, there's always a lot of spending at the start of the year in that type of materials, and now we'll sort of slow up as we go. On the revenue side, I added this slide. This is just for the month. Last month I had the same slide, and the salaries and benefits were about 80% as a percentage. This is what we really sort of expect almost every month overall, because that's what our salaries and benefits do comprise about 85, depending on the year, to 86, 87, 88 of our budget. So that, our first sort of full month, when you hit October, all the hiring's done, that we're where we would expect. That's always a good thing. So no surprises in finance is usually good.
Yeah.
And then on the revenue side, they do front load us. We've got about half of our state apportionment, which came in earlier, a little bit of our supplemental levy, and some of the state dollars coming in, but things are looking good. Enrollment, we're very similar to last year. We're up from the previous year, we're down 6 kids, but overall it's sort of a flat enrollment. Our elementary enrollment's a little bit down, but our secondary enrollment's up, so we budgeted sort of flat enrollment, so that's good. The long-term trend we talked about may be going down a little bit, depending on those elementary numbers. And then finally, on the CTEC project, I'm going to have sort of a time lapse here. Matt Deal has been getting some drone coverage of the project. So this is takes about 25, 30 seconds sort of at the start and where we're at today. It's pretty cool. You see the portable gone or moved. Still there. Pouring the slab, that wasn't too long ago. Last month we talked about that. Frame's going up. And this last picture, I think, was pretty close to today or maybe last Friday. So project's happening, it's sort of exciting. We haven't had new construction in a while in the district, so it's really neat to see that go up. It's going to be a good facility. But I'll be here for any questions.
I don't have anything else.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Next up, we have a fall data report with Assistant Superintendent Dr. Casey McLaughlin. Another supplement to the fall data report.
Yeah, this is actually fairly quick. So we had some lagging data that had come in from last month that it's pretty exciting to share on. We had talked about our IRI and particularly kindergarten because we had 100% passage rate and proficiency at Farm and Stidwell. Well, it came in that Brazy Smith, our kindergarten teacher, also achieved 100% IRI in kindergarten at Southside. So we wanted to show you that, which is a pretty huge celebration. And then the next slide is actually really, really cool. That our kindergarten in our district, which is really, really exciting, is actually the #1 in IRI proficiency in the entire state for traditional public schools. So that is amazing. Again, I want to reiterate that there's 466 elementary schools, right, in the state, so that's a really big deal. There's actually one charter school that beat us, and that was it. I mean, overall, and of course that charter school can take who they want to take and everything else. They don't exactly have the same rules there. But it's just incredibly exciting to see that, and that is something that we should be really, really proud of. So, yeah, that's all I have. And thank you for letting me come back up. I appreciate it.
Number 2.
Thanks.
All right, next up we have Dr. Beckermeyer with the superintendent report.
Okay.
We expect this to be quick, just like everyone else.
Quick. Hey, this is November is really quick. Laser pointer doesn't work. We can't. Otherwise.
Burn your eyes out.
We tried it.
Lightsaber.
Okay, this is not this bright when you actually look on the computer screen, if you see it. It's somehow these TVs have got to be beyond bright. We even test this. That's bright.
It's the
Okay,
distance.
veterans, I just wanted to say thank you to our veterans, for everyone. It's just been a really good day. We went to Clark Park this morning and there were several, that's the bottom left, and several people, and then Darren took some pictures also, and then the cadets that were here with you last time. So I just wanted to say a very big special thank you to our veterans for today. Reminding everyone of our strategic plan, or our 4 buckets that we concentrate on. The students are always at the center. Our theme this year is not usually this bright, but it is bright, but a green light to shine. I usually wear green, but today is Veterans Day, so red, white, and blue. Student center, though, the student learning is at the center of everything we do. As Dr. McLaughlin just said, we are doing really well in this category. The board's goals continue to be the one trusted adult, your graduation rate, and then talking about the IRI and our math achievement. You already saw the time-lapse video. Just in case anyone in the public does look at the superintendent report, so I linked it in here as well, but we won't watch that again. That's another angle before that went up. Just wanted to give a shout out, and I see that CSO JD McElroy is here. Our district safety task force continues to meet once a month. We met last night. And we don't advertise the date, but in December we will be doing our Big Daddy Sandpoint High School, Sandpoint Middle School, and Homeschool Academy are practicing the evacuation reunification. As a reminder to the public, all of those with the green check marks are checked off, that those have done their evacuation reunification. And our goal with the board was to say we're going to complete all 11 schools and Homeschool Academy within 3 years. And we're ahead of schedule, mainly because Kelly Fisher is in charge of it. So we're ahead of schedule. And because the principals are very helpful in wanting to get this done. We can't say with 100% accuracy, but we do not know of any other school district in the entire state that is going through this process, complete evacuation, reunification process with their schools. So we continue to be on the leading edge throughout the state, as you can see from our data and everything else that we're doing. It'd be great to hear our audit report. We're probably #1 in the state on that too, I would suspect. Reminding the board that I'm going around to schools and doing Green Light to Shine stories and doing little video snippets. I have several in the queue right now. I have 4 that I need to do. So they're backing up, but we're going to be at ISBA this week, so they're going to be next week. Boy, darn, Kelly, this thing. There's my next one I did with Minnie Roguette. She teaches student leadership at Sandpoint High School. I went and did a Green Light to Shine video with her, but then I also did a little class period with her students, and we went through them, and I had them partner up and learn more about themselves, and they invited me back. So I'm going to go back into that class and be teaching some strengths-focused leadership for that group.
It's a good sign if they invite you back.
I know, that's what I
pretty
told.
good.
That's what I said.
You passed the test.
They invited me back, so that was really good. Anyway, and then thank you to Darren for the loop. You all have that in our Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow us on social media. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up. This is just to remind people and show you what dates, which schools are doing that, open for families. And you probably saw on the paper, swim team state champions.
Yeah.
Again, girls and boys. Good job. Woo.
Nice. Back to back to back.
Back to
boys.
back, yes.
I think.
Yeah, the first time, that's been years and years.
Girls is the first time? Okay, girls.
Oh,
Three for girls and
I
two
think
for boys.
for girls,
Okay, 3 for girls,
Three
2
for
for
girls and 2 for boys.
It's amazing.
but it'd been like 50-some years before that, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hearts out.
From the heart side. Speaking of swimming, I want to give the board, and people saw it in the paper, and people might have seen things on social media. Trust Board Chair Lonnie Williams and I met with some folks in the community, some other leaders who are concerned about this. I just wanted, you saw the parent communication that I sent out yesterday. I sent it to the board first before I sent it out to the parents. I just wanted the board to know I have received numerous emails back to thank me. A lot of people said 99% of them were supportive. Lots and lots and lots of supportive. I did have one parent state that I was cluttering up their inbox. So it must not be an issue for them, which I thought was funny. But anyway,
I have so much.
I know. You and I both. But I was really professional and I didn't say anything. I do want you to know that we do use the YMCA for more than just the swim team.
Yeah.
Our 3rd grade, all of our 3rd grade classrooms go and have swim lessons. Our life skill programs have used that. Sometimes they use out in Hope, sometimes here. But we do use it for more than just the swim team. So Board Chair Williams and I wanted to make sure that we had some protocols that were followed and our kids were kept safe and protected, which we feel definitely more. We feel better now that we've had this meeting.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I think all in all, it was a very positive meeting. I'll say for everybody involved, all the parties at the table. But for us, #1 is student safety and upholding and adhering to our laws, and that's what we're able to achieve. And luckily, we found out through this, we have protocols in place.
Mhm.
But I think through something like this, it's like, okay, let's shine a light on this and make sure that we codify that, and make sure that everybody's doing what needs to be done all the time.
And Chair Williams did say at some point we might be bringing a board policy to you so that it's not only law, but that we have a board policy. Feels like that would be good we felt like that would be helpful for our administrators to have board policy to fall back on as well.
Yeah.
So that's something that he brought up.
Yeah. And I was thankful, the YMCA, because, you know, they were very, very helpful in this meeting and accommodating in what we make sure that we got done for our students.
Okay, any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Was that short enough?
Kelly, do we have any public comment? No? Okay. Next up, we have the consent agenda, and I will entertain a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. On second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Next up, we have our external audit report for fiscal year 2025, and we have Tony here from Hayden and Ross, our auditors.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Board,
Thanks
for
for
having
coming
me
up.
today. I'm getting the message of quick. Sometimes,
You're just fine.
You can try the clicker from there, but it didn't work for me, so we probably just have to.
I'm gonna trust that we can
Okay,
eye communicate this.
thank you. Thank you.
I'll try to be quick, but I'm a long-winded talker, so we'll just see where we go. Just, again, my name's Tony Mattson with Hayden Ross. This is the second year doing the audit here at the district. Excited to be up here to give another presentation. We'll start off with what everybody's actually here for is we issued a clean opinion on the financial statement. So no findings, clean opinion. That's exactly where we wanted to be when we started the audit. That's what we were all hoping for. Brian and Val have been doing a great job with the accounting and everything. So just want to say thank you. Thanks. One thing in the audit report, we'll get to the numbers here in a minute, but in the audit report, there is one thing that has been removed this year, which is the single audit. So just a quick recap, single audit is like a federal compliance audit that historically has been done in connection with financial statement audit. But the federal government has not finalized a compliance supplement that's needed to finish the single audit. So we went ahead and separated the financial statement audit from the compliance audit so we can issue the report, make sure you guys can get your report down to the state on time. The deadline for the single audit is actually 9 months after the year end, so the end of March. Okay. And the compliance supplement has not been approved yet, and with the government shutdown, I don't know how much farther behind they are. And there's also no ETA on when it's going to be approved. So that's in the queue to be done. There'll just be a separate audit report that will be issued when that comes out. So
Okay, thank you.
that's that. The other thing before we just dive into the numbers, on the attachment there, I did see that the ending governance letter is there. You don't have to bring it up, but that's just required communication with the board. Talks about some of the upcoming accounting standards that are coming down the pipeline, significant estimates in the financial statements, and then most importantly, that we didn't have any disagreements with management. So just required communication, and it's there for you guys to look at. For today, I just wanted to go through primarily the general fund. We'll also go through the school modernization fund, but we're going to concentrate primarily on the general fund, and we'll just run through a series of graphs I have here for you today. Starting with just the overall recap, the general fund started the year with fund balance or equity of $21,835,000. Revenues were $49,110,000. Expenses were $48,474,000. And the district ended with the fund balance at $22,471,000. So that was an increase this year of about $636,000. The district had budgeted for just under about a $2 million loss. So compared to budget, the district was doing pretty good compared to where you guys had kind of applied it, decided or budgeted at the beginning of the year. If we look at 10-year history, I just always like to have a 10-year history just to kind of get a sense of where the district has come from. 8 of your last 10 years, you've had an increase in your fund balance, including 8 of the last 8 years. So the last time the general funds had any sort of loss was really in fiscal year 16 and 17. And when we look this at more of a timeline in terms of like where your fund balance has been, we can look at that on the next page. kind of get a sense of where the ending fund balance has been for the general fund. This particular graph has two lines. The bottom sort of static line there is actually the district's minimum fund balance policy. So the minimum fund balance policy for the district is to have 5% of your general fund revenue as a carryover, minimum fund balance. You can see there that you've had this increase over the last 10 years, ending at that $22,471,000. A couple things here. First of all, so how did we get to where we are here? Primarily, you have the indefinite levy that got approved starting in fiscal year 20, right? So you can kind of see from 19 to 20, you started to see that, because I think you were 8.5 million before the 12.7. So you had that shift in the additional levy dollars. And then also what happened was COVID. And we've seen this in every single district, like that 21, 22, 23, 24 periods. There were enough other federal dollars that things that the general fund would historically pay for were paid for with those federal dollars. So almost every fund balance across the state, you saw it in all the general funds, they just started had these increases. Your levy is your levy, you were able to shift some expenditures, and it just really sort of led to an increase in your fund balance. But you can see in fiscal year 25, you actually sort of flattened at the top there, the $636,000. Still had an increase this last year, but it did sort of top out. And actually on like a, like buying power, if you look at the end of fiscal year 24, that represented about your fund balance at the beginning of the year represented about 5.8 months worth of expenses. And even though it went up, at the end of the year represents about 5.6 months. So real flat year over year to where you guys ended up the year. Historically, if a district doesn't have a minimum fund balance policy, I usually look at this. I usually look at a fund balance as like 2 months or better. So sitting at 5.6 months is still, like, you guys are in good shape. 5% is a good baseline, but I will also look at this as like a 2 month. Like anytime you start getting under 2 months, it starts getting a little bit, like you could potentially have some cash flow issues. Yeah. So you guys are sitting in good shape. Thank you. Look at the revenues a little bit closer. Again, total revenues on the year were $49,110,000. I broke these up in the same categories that Brian was presenting, your local dollars, which is really going to be levy, interest earnings, donations, any other dollars that come in from the local sources, was $15,245,000. That was effectively flat year over year. Obviously that's where your levy dollars are coming in. The other thing I like to point out in there is you earned $1,536,000 interest this last year. So pretty big interest component also coming in on your local dollars. On the state side, total state revenue was $33,747,000. That was about 68.7% of your budget. That was up just over $1 million year over year. Primarily base support. They had an increase in per support unit funding at the state. Your support units also went up about 8 from fiscal year 24 to 25. That's a little bit of an anomaly because in the other districts that I've been, we do about 13 other school districts, and I didn't see as much growth. So kudos to you guys for having a little bit better growth on the support unit side this last year. So that's good. You finished the year at about 190 support units, and your fiscal year 26 budget is budgeting at 188. So you're right in the same ballpark for next spring. If we look at, again, a 10-year trend, just to kind of see where your dollars came in between local and state, your 10-year average has been 32% local, 65% state. You can see you're kind of right in those same averages this year. Looking back on the trend, you can see fiscal year 20, you had a bump in the levy, so obviously you had more on a percentage basis, a higher percentage when you pass that increase in the levy. Since that time, you've had this decline as a percentage basis. The dollar amount has obviously remained flat, but you've had more state funding in each of those years, so as a percentage basis, your reliance on the local has decreased effectively. Looking on the expenditure side, again, total expenditures were $48,474,000. That was about a $3.2 million increase year over year. Broken this out between instruction expenses and support. Instruction was $27,290,000, accounted for 56% of your expenditures. That was an increase of about $2,150,000 year over year, primarily due to salary and benefit increases. Support accounted for $19,894,000 of your expenses, or 41%. That was an increase of about $874,000 year over year. Your transfers are going to be, so these are expenditures, transfers going out of the general fund into other funds of the district. You had your Medicaid transfer, so your required Medicaid transfer was $379,000. Made a $150,000 transfer to the plant facility fund, and then you also made a $400,000 required transfer for your bus depreciation. Looking at a 10-year trend, it's just interesting information to look at just to kind of see how the dollars have been spent. Your 10-year averages have been 40% support, 54% instruction. That is, you ended the year effectively in that same basic range. Just as a comparison, some other school districts of your size tend to be in that 38 to 40% support number. So you guys are right in line with what we're seeing at Moscow, Lewiston, Lakeland, Coeur d'Alene, like those schools, like your percentages look real similar to the other school districts. All right, we're good. Modernization money, I just want to talk about this as one of, obviously a big deal for fiscal year 25, is the district qualified for the lump sum payment, which basically means you did your 10-year plan, and you received $17,056,460 from the state. And then on those particular dollars, the district earned $466,000 this last year. So that all went into your modernization fund. Had a little bit of expenditures, $27,000, and ended the year with $17,495,000 in equity or fund balance in the modernization fund. So all those dollars are going to be available for the district for anything within the scope of your 10-year plan. Overall, it was a good year for the district. Fund balance, we did talk about, sort of flattened, right? But still in great shape. You're expected, I actually didn't mention this earlier, but your budget for 26, and Brian's graph showed that as well. You're budgeting to use, now I have to look back, just over $2 million, I think is what the budget, is that right? Yeah. $2 million in 26 of that fund balance to fund operations. So it should budgeted to drop a little bit this upcoming year. But you received all your modernization money, and that's good. You have that option, you guys already know this, but you have the option to receive it a lump sum if you did the 10-year plan or an annual allocation. And I know no districts, at least that we work with, that didn't have to just do the 10-year plan and get the money in your bank account. And obviously, you're sitting there earning $466,000. So it's just a benefit to have it all sitting here, and you guys have control over it. It's earning interest. You guys have that ability to use it as needed. So like I said, I think it was a good year. Does the board have any questions for me?
I do not. You guys? No?
Happy with that.
Yeah, no, it's a great report. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the rest of the day.
All right, you too. Let's see, so next up we have.
Do you need a motion?
Oh,
Point of reference?
that is correct. All right, I will entertain a motion to accept the external audit report.
I make a motion to accept the external audit report for fiscal year 2025 as presented by Hayden Ross.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you, Kelly.
Yep.
All right, next up, we have the alternate authorization for Corey Stevens at Sandy Point High School. And let's look at this. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Any questions on this one? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the alternate authorization for Corey Stevens.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we have the alternate authorization for Luke Childers. Any questions on this one? No. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the alternate authorization for Luke Childers.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. All right, next up, we have second reading of policies. First one up is 3340 due process.
And reminding you, this is the one change.
Right, yeah, there's just one code.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Any further input on this one, or I'll entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 3340 due process, corrective actions, and discipline.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Next up, we have policy 4420, visits to district property by sex offenders. We edited this one by taking out that two paragraphs, I guess.
And then we had to change the protocol, which I already
Right.
shared with you, but so that doesn't need the board vote.
Right. Wait, say that again, I'm sorry.
That does not
Yeah,
need a board
yeah.
vote with the protocol
Any
procedure.
input or questions on this one? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 4420, visits to district property by sex offenders.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Next up, we have 5260, abused and neglected children reporting. And this one, yeah, we're just added designee and that was it.
Yep.
Yep, okay.
If if we're able to make a comment,
Yeah.
is this just a clerical thing on the third paragraph, abandoned, quote unquote abandoned? Should it say in the second line, normal parent relationship with his or her child, including? Or, because it follows that up with another paragraph saying his or her.
Yeah.
The very next paragraph.
I see what
I can
you-
make that edit.
But other than that, I feel good.
Yeah, that's a great catch.
Thanks. Call me Pearly.
Jalen.
Yeah.
We're all similarly. Although he's a vet, where is he at?
I know.
Tell him.
So can we
Yeah.
edit that?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll worry about it right
Whoever does the motion
Yeah.
can just say as.
With revision.
now. Okay. I'll entertain a motion. You want to?
I'll do it since I spoke up. I make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 5260, abused and neglected child reporting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Next up, we have 7320, purchasing. And this one, we just bumped the amounts up in. Any further discussion on this one, you guys? Questions?
I just had a couple questions.
Yep.
I know we talked a little bit, Dr. Meyer, about this one. And you reported back to the board, all good. The very beginning, the authorization control section, does the wording need to say anything about emergencies? Or do we like the wording that says, where is it at?
Right here.
Except, I'll just read the whole thing, 100,000, start there, 100,000,
Yeah.
except the superintendent shall have the authority to make capital outlay purchases without advance approval when it is necessary to protect the interest of the district or the health and safety of the staff or students. Like that part I love, but we had talked about maybe, like, cause it's the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law, right? It's for emergencies to protect the safety of students and staff. But I don't know, the wording of interest of the district sounds a little
Not
possibly
specific enough.
ambiguous to me. So I don't know what you, I'll take whatever you guys talk me off the ledge on it, but it seemed a little ambiguous
Yeah.
and not specific enough to emergency situations, kind of. Because That's kind of the spirit of it, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think the outcome's gonna be the same either way, but the board still has to, even if the superintendent, myself, or if it's somebody in the future, and they make a purchase, they approve a purchase, the board still has to approve the purchase at the next, so there is checks and balance. I mean, superintendent can't just unilaterally spend up to 100,000 and there's no, then the board still needs to approve that at the next meeting. So there is that check and balance, but I certainly am open if it wants to say the word emergency or safety or anything else in there that would help specify.
I like protect the interest more than emergencies, because I think people have a potential to have a different idea of what an emergency is. Where protecting the interest is more defined to me, but.
You could argue the
You
same.
could argue both, yeah,
Interest
it's
could,
Yeah.
but-
interest.
What if we did bold words and we're
Emergency
all
interest.
happy?
Protect the interests.
The emergency.
I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with it being like it is. I just wanted to raise the question if it was possibly an issue to anyone else after reading it, thinking that way. I mean, so. Because I know what it means.
Right.
We talked, like,
Right. But you are writing policy for the future of the
Right.
district. It doesn't necessarily mean it's, because I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna live forever, so it has to be written for anyone in the future as well. So that's why the board has to be comfortable with whoever the superintendent may be.
Yeah.
So I think to Trustee Peters' point was, it could be like I said like a safety issue, and he said an emergency. I liked the word safety instead of interest, but protect if it was student safety or school safety, health, interest, health and safety of staff.
Well, I like the health and safety of the staff or students, but do you wanna say like in an emergency situation where there's not time to?
yeah, because that's what I feel like that's the spirit of it, but it doesn't really say that. And so it seems a little ambiguous to just leave it to protect the interest of the district. It could be interpreted by, if you don't live
Yeah.
forever, but anybody in
That
the
would be weird.
future, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the decision needs to be made immediately, then you have power to, and we
Yeah,
also.
up to 100,000.
Right, but we're going to approve it at the next board meeting, correct?
I mean, the clause speaks specifically about capital outlay. So typically what this might be is, let's say a boiler went down and you need to get that boiler replaced and it's $75,000. So we would allow Dr. Meyer to go make an emergency purchase, not do the public bid and all that, to get that going. That's what this really speaks to.
Right.
Then we have our other purchasing, just so you don't have to follow really public procurement laws, because it's timely. Didn't they just, in fact, they just did that for like a road, a culvert or something in this area, I think, that
Yeah.
something happened. And so they didn't go advertise in the paper for 2 weeks to go get that fixed.
Okay.
They just went and did, and that's sort of what this is speaking to. Otherwise, if we wanted to make a boiler purchase, we'd have to follow the
regular,
procurement
yeah.
laws. Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, yes, I do agree that it is somewhat ambiguous, but the umbrella is big enough that it captures whatever the project would be. And if we're not under those time constraints, it's gonna fall under
Then we have to
the
follow.
regular procurement rules.
Yeah, and I think that's why it says capital purchases.
Yes,
So
capital
if
outlay.
if we wanted to go buy a bunch of Chromebooks, which are not really capital, because each one's only $400, even though it's a big purchase, let's say $300,000, but we can't do that. That's not a capital purchase. So it doesn't qualify under this exception, I
Okay.
guess.
Thank you.
Is the HVAC equipment, is that in what Mr. Deal said that was gonna fit under this?
For sure, let's say if we had, let's say one of our steam pipes failed at the middle school or
That never happens.
at Northside, it never happened, but
Or
really,
Washington?
and it ended up being a really large purchase or repair and you had to get it going right away, that's what this would be more for, yeah.
Yeah. Jalen, are you?
Yeah, I think so. The
concerned
capital
with-
outlay wording
Yeah.
covers that,
Okay.
right? Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's, yeah, they're saying, okay, go ahead and, the boiler went down, you gotta heat the building, go write the PO and
Get it
have,
done.
drop ship the equipment and get it going.
Yeah.
But, that wouldn't include, oh, you have your textbooks and now you can, no, because
No.
that wouldn't count.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I'm kind of okay with it. I just didn't know if anybody else would.
It does kind of
No,
fall
that's a
under
great point.
emergency though, I mean, it is.
I did have one other section to mention something, if we're good on that.
In this
section.
policy?
Yeah, in the
Okay.
same policy, unless you had something else.
Nope, go ahead.
The personal conflict and interest section.
Cooperative, right here.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where, but my notes to myself were basically, should it have wording in there to include board trustees with employees? Or does that, did I miss that wording, or does that even need to be in there? Because it says, no employee will make any purchase or incur any obligations for the behalf, for or on behalf of the district from any private business contractor, and then it continues on, and then it says that type of wording a few times, where it says employee, but I don't think we can purchase anything, but do we need to be included in there somewhere? as a
Well, are
board?
we already, would that already be covered under what? The.
Where is that?
I would think that might be
Where is
covered
that?
under the 1,000 series of the Board of
Board
Trustees and your
Trustees.
ethics.
Yeah.
And this is more to staff, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I was trying to spit out. Okay, cool. Any other questions?
Sorry,
that's why I was
Fisher
like-
said it's, board policy 1600.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, and that's it.
Okay. Any other discussion points? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it since I brought up all the issues. I make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 7320 purchasing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Next up, we have 7403, procurement of goods and services for school meal programs. Whole bunch of new,
This is for the child nutrition program, and this is just all new.
all new. Okay. Mr. Becker, any?
I got nothing. Sorry, guys.
Okay, that's all right.
That's why I wanted Dr. Meyer to be so quick, because I knew I was going to talk.
Good job, just buying
Good
time.
call.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for adoption.
I will make a motion to adopt new policy 7403, procurement of goods and services for school meal programs.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we have 7405, Public Works Contracting and Procurement. Revision, we got an increase of amounts. Everything else?
Just a question, is this is basically, this ties to the other policy we just did, right? Essentially, because it seemed like it was different somehow, but
It just increases the amount before you have to go out for bid from this new update in the Idaho code. They
Yeah.
just increased the limits,
This is just.
the legislature.
All just mirroring
got it.
new code.
They increased it from 50 to 100, from up here to 100 to 250,
Yeah.
Yeah.
based on this update in this code.
Which is policy 7320, right? Is that not the same thing that we just approved? I guess that's why I was confused. Am I looking at two different policies, or?
Yes.
It's two different policies, yeah. One
Yeah.
public works contracting and procurement.
Okay.
This is public procurement.
Yeah, this policy is pretty much just restating Idaho code, and they changed Idaho code, so we're just matching the limits in code. But yes, both policies are related for sure.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 7405, public works, contracting, and procurement.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is it 74007?
Nope.
Nope.
745.
What am I looking at
The
here?
next one.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're the one we're up. One up, we're one up.
All right, that motion passes.
Thank
Did Dave,
I was reading that.
He's not brilliant.
I'm going to play the gates.
Follow along with you.
All right, moving along. Next, we have 7407.
There you go.
All right, here we are. Dave.
Now you're caught up.
Yeah.
You only hold it once.
oh Lord have mercy. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's so big.
There we go. All right.
There we go. And this just raised
Changes,
the
yeah.
limits and then again talked about repeat the bidding at least 7 days before the opening. So it has to be published twice.
Yep. All right, any questions, comments, input? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 7407, public procurement of goods and services.
I better second
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes.
Still trying to learn this.
Yeah.
All right, now on to non-action items. We do have the ISBA conference starting tomorrow. Some of us will be down there bright and early, and some will be down just a little bit later. But ISBA conference and voting on the resolutions later this week, so. Did you have any other input on that?
Nope,
Mark?
it's great.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Looking forward to it. It'll be a fun couple of days. Next up, we have first reading of policies, so we'll start out with 2380, homebound hospice, or hospital and home instruction. The revisions of this one.
And Dr. Joy Jansen's here, should you have any questions. You can see it's very short policy.
Yeah. Seems very straightforward to me. Any questions or clear? Okay. All right, no actions needed there. We will move on to 2450, contracted student services. That's the one where stuff got moved.
This one just added designee.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And just in case I won the lottery and went to Tahiti, they wanted to make sure the designee could
Yeah.
do this.
Okay, well.
Considering I've never played, that's gonna be pretty impossible.
Yeah, play it away. Does anybody have any questions or input on this one?
No.
Okay. We will move on to 3340, due process, corrective action, and discipline.
It's just added that paragraph about receiving students from out of district.
Yeah, and I did consult an attorney on the wording on this and looked, Clerk Fisher looked at other districts. We neglected to have this in our policy, so it will help us in the future,
Yeah.
so that
Doesn't happen.
we have protocol in place should somebody come to our schools after being expelled from another school.
Yeah.
So, question, it says until that student has completed, is it until or at the earliest time? I mean,
I see what you're saying. Like, we have to accept them as soon as they're done with that?
yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Well, no, I think everybody's, there's exceptions to acceptance. But I think this is saying you're not being considered for acceptance to come into our district until you served whatever your expulsion time is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. If you get kicked out of Coeur d'Alene for a year, you can't come up here the next month and enroll.
It's really trying to, the intention behind this is it's trying to save the board time, because without this in our policy, every single student across the entire world that wants to come into our school district, regardless of why they were expelled, you would have to schedule a hearing to go through the expulsion proceedings, and you would be obligated to do that as a board.
Even though.
No, you would get to decide, but you'd have to have a hearing
Right.
for every single student that decides they want to go here.
Right, it says until that student has completed. Is that at the earliest? I mean,
Yes.
should we specify that? Do you see where I'm going with
I
that?
think I do.
I don't understand what you're saying.
From what, it sounds like what you're trying to get at is that it sounds like we will not admit the student until they've completed it, like, at that point, we will accept them. Should we have wording in there that says at that point, we will
Consider it.
evaluate or consider?
At that point,
We
then
can't.
consider it.
Legally, we can't do that, because
Yeah.
legally then, they would, unless they live out of the district and they're open enrollment, which at that point, it can be behavior or attendance, that we could not accept them. But if they're a student that lives in our district and has been expelled from another district, then we legally have to take them into our school system after they complete their expulsion.
We have to.
We can't deny FAPE after they're done with their, FAPE is free and appropriate public education. We cannot do that,
Yeah.
we cannot, stop their, we have to accept them
So if
after
they're in
their
our
expulsion.
district, we have to.
Yes.
If out, then we can do this regular protocols.
Yes, 100%.
That also makes sense.
When a student is expelled from, let's say, Lakeland High School, and say they're 30 days, and they want to come in, do we get all their records of what happened?
We can request them.
Okay.
Those aren't necessarily, don't go very fast, but we certainly request them.
And do we have the right to look at all of the records and why? And if there's a, like, has it happened from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade? Is it the same pattern before we?
We can request the CUME folder. It just sometimes takes a while. Most expulsions are for a calendar year. Again, the board gets to determine, whatever board that is, gets to determine the stay of how long the expulsion.
So let's say that another school expels somebody and they say, well, we know they're moving anyways. We're just going to give this kid 30 days, this student, 30 days. And then they move here and we would like to request the records. And it sounds like that takes a while.
Depending on the district.
Okay, so.
We're really fast because we're all electronic, we're almost all completely, so we can
So
electronically.
is there a chance
sec-
where they could say it's 30 days and then we would need more time than 30 days and not have the records?
Yes, that could happen.
So under this policy,
Do
that's
we-
what I'm saying.
Do we
add
pump the
really
brakes, or do we
time.
just let anybody in?
By law, if it's past their expulsion, you have to let them in.
No, okay.
Without the records?
But what
Yes.
I'm saying
Okay.
is there some sort of check on that? If somebody gets expelled, and are we just taking them at their word? Oh, yes, I got suspended for 30 days. But we find out after the fact, no, they got suspended for 6 months.
Oh, now I see what you're saying. The registrars at the schools request the records.
Gotcha.
And then they need to have the birth certificate, their immunization or exemption, they need to have their transcript.
Yeah.
When they're withdrawing from another school, they say what are their grades at the time of withdrawal, their transfer grades. So we request all that information, but when trustee Demers was saying, do we get all the way from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th, sometimes that CUME
That can
folder,
take a
that's called a cumulative folder, that may take longer to get because if you don't have it electronically, some people are still in the dinosaur days and they actually have like fireproof safes in the back and they have to go pull it out and scan them all. Luckily, our district is on the cutting edge because Angie Brass is doing that electronically and they're almost through lots of our, by the end of the school year, we'll probably have all of our student records electronically.
Sweet.
So this is pretty non-negotiable.
Yeah.
By law, yes, and this is put in there to make sure that the board, to protect you from having to have a hearing anytime a student shows up.
So what if we receive them, like a situation like this, right? 30 days, they move up here, they are admitted to school, enrolled. And then we find out, 2 weeks after that point, we get this folder and find out so much more. And we're like, oh crap, now what? What recourse do we have?
So, number one, if they've been expelled, then they can't enroll. So it wouldn't matter if we are done with the 30 days and they lived in our district, no matter if they're done with their expulsion, then we legally have to put them in because we cannot deny their free and appropriate public education.
Sure.
If they're out of our district, that's why we always ask when people register in our district, they have to show proof of residency and it can't be a cell phone bill. So the admin assistants at the schools, Kelly helps support by looking at the documentation and authenticating it. Verifying, how about that? Verifying it to make sure that it's not an open enrollment and that they actually live in our district. This doesn't happen very often that students are expelled. Like, it's a pretty small percentage of time that you actually have an expelled student. But I know several principals in the audience have dealt with this. And so I think it's important that we uphold. If a board expels a student, it's usually for a very specific reason, and that typically would mean that we don't want to take that on until the expulsion is
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
fulfilled.
Cool. Any further input? Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Meyer. Next up, we have 3345, restraint and seclusion.
This looks like, and again, Dr. Joy Jansen is here for this. What she did, because as you know from your training, the policies are supposed to be shorter and concise in the policy, and procedures are supposed to be in a separate, and that's what she did, is she separated the policy from the procedure. So you can see this is the policy here, and then she did the procedure is the next one.
Yeah.
But she can certainly answer any questions that you may have about either of these two.
It all made sense to me. Do you guys have any questions on any of this stuff? No. Okay. Okay. All right, and then next up, obviously, we have the procedure. But
Yep.
nothing new there.
So 3345P.
Yeah, so
Is the
that's where,
procedure.
well, and a lot of this policy moved to the procedure,
So
but
when,
not.
no, go ahead. I was just, sorry, I thought you were done. So when we vote on this at second reading, are we voting on the policy and not procedure?
Correct.
Yeah, we won't,
This-
we're voting on the policy.
And this is the insert into the procedure,
Yeah.
this one area.
But we don't have to vote on that.
No,
Correct.
this is just an FYI for the board. But you certainly can ask questions or make recommendations if you have any.
Absolutely.
It's usually just, I thought we usually just had it like 2 tabs on the same agenda item, and so it was throwing me off.
Mm.
Like it was a whole separate voting thing, but that's just me, I don't think it needs to be done. I was just asking. No big deal.
They wanted them.
It's for.
So about
subsection
6 months ago or so, maybe 8 months ago, you wanted them separate. So you could open them separately versus scrolling through the you know, 3652/3652P, but I'm just saying, I can go back to the other one. It's your preference. I wasn't saying you said it, but I just.
She meant the board is good.
Yeah, I sure felt like you were directing that at me.
You asked.
Yeah, let's get you a win.
You can have that. Sorry.
Casey and I are keeping track. Okay, one.
So, Mr. Peters, do you have any other input?
No. No input, let's just move on.
Moving forward. On to 8605, retention of district records.
And this is just changing from our IT director, Matt Brass. We're just putting in here how long our employees, when they become inactive, their emails. So this is a storage issue for our servers and such.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or input on this one?
It came from Google. Google.
We can't store anything in Google,
Right.
anything beyond 2 years after it's inactive anyway, so we had to.
Yeah.
So that's why I put that in there. Okay. None of that. That's the only change in here.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions, input on this one? No, we good? All right, moving on to administrative announcements. Do we have any administrative announcements by any of our administrators?
We had our Veterans Day Assembly today, and I got the great idea to have SHS ROTC present. That will last month,
nice.
so I stole them. The kids absolutely loved it. They were in full guard. And then I told you guys last time, my project is to get Miss Hallie a more permanent outdoor ed structure, so we are a top 3 finalists for the 101 Women's Grant.
Oh, cool.
We have to sell it on Thursday night, and we'll know Thursday night if we receive the grant, and it's $11,000.
Oh, cool.
So I'm bringing kids, and we're going for it, guys.
Sweet.
That was Tasha Hamer. Could you just say your name too, because Jack's here.
Tasha Hamer, Washington Elementary principal.
Yeah, just say your name just in case he quotes you in the paper. I don't want to attribute it to him.
Quote me after we get the grant. We'll talk.
Jackie, do you have anything special?
Well, I just want to follow up with your, excitement that you had about our first place wins for boys and girls swim, but just paint the picture what that looks like. The city police meet the bus at the Long Bridge, and they bring them in with all the lights. The parents are following, and A.D. Clary's there with music, and we had Dalton Hawkins with all the stats shining on the side of the school when the kids pulled up. And then the lights went out of the parking lot because we're frugal and our timer went off. So I go running down the hallways, flip on the lights. I've got my 5-year-old little granddaughter, and she's like, like it's dark in here. Apparently, I was on the inside, so I missed it, but it was really, really exciting because all the lights went on as everyone came around the corner. But it's just such a celebratory time. It's so fun.
So cool.
It's just, it's big stuff. So
Like Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation is what
Exactly.
you're.
There
what
you
I'm
go.
seeing. Okay.
I'm fighting it closet, but it's it's good stuff, and that's, there's a lot of hard things and fun things, but those are the really great things, so that was a fun Saturday.
Yep.
And I got to hang out with the counselors in classrooms today, working on career exploration projects with sophomores, so
All right.
that's always a good time too. So thank you, counseling team, for that.
I know it's good. Career today.
Do you have anything else, Principal Hatley?
We're just looking forward to our parent-teacher conferences. We start some of them tomorrow, and then we go into next week as well. It's always great to have our parents in the classrooms, and we get to learn more from them about their own children.
Jennifer by Candy?
I would say also looking forward to parent-teacher conferences. That's always an exciting time. And to highlight that last week we did have our Title I bingo night and had about 250 or so people show up. It was packed, and we are now beginning to wonder if we're gonna have to move from the cafeteria with all the tables in there to maybe the gym for a bigger. It just seems to be growing every year, so that's really
Good
exciting
problem to have.
see, the community coming in and staff volunteering for that night, so it's really fun. We have a new KT mascot, our pirate parrot, and so he made his debut at our award ceremony on Monday, and he also visited for the title night too. So.
Is there somebody in it?
Yes.
Is it Derek Dickinson?
No, Trish Butler did the assemblies, and people guessed, I guess she has a walk that people just know. And she did turn around and kind of shook, and they said, oh, that's just gotta be her. And then Abby Lizzie, our 5th grade teacher, she was calling bingo, and then handed it to Derek Dickinson to call some bingo and disappeared and came back.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's cool.
Fun.
Derek didn't want to get in there?
Not yet.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
On that note.
On that note.